こんにちは皆さん、お元気ですか？ Hello, how are you? Today is anime video number 25 about Sakura, Sakura cherry blossoms or cherry trees. So you are going to learn lots of Japanese culture too. And in the last, I'm going to talk about some anime films or anime about Sakura. Well, the kanji, this one in the left part, this is the tree, kihen, because this is tree. And here, like tsu from katakana, tachitsu teto. Tsu from katakana, and this kanji is woman, lady, onna. And all together, we pronounce sakura, sakura. And here, there's other kanji, but this one is the old style. But maybe you see this one, and this one is also, you can pronounce sakura, sakura. And kihen, and here, kai, it's like a shell, twice, and woman. This one was the old style, sakura, and this one is the new style. Nowadays, we use this kanji, sakura for cherry blossom. This is the picture of Nara Park with deer in springtime. When we say sakura, we generally refer to ornamental cherry trees, not to edible cherry trees. And sakura is considered the national flower of Japan. Cherry blossoms are the small delicate pink flowers produced by cherry bloom trees. The springtime bloom is a lavish spectacle, but remarkably brief. After only 2 weeks, they drop to the ground, falling like snow with the ebb and flow of the winds. Tied to the Buddhist themes of mortality, mindfulness, and living in the present, Japanese cherry blossoms are a timeless metaphor for human existence. Blooming season is powerful, glorious, and intoxicating, but tragically short-lived, a visual reminder that our lives too are fleeting. In Japanese culture, sakura as the embodiment of beauty and mortality can be traced back centuries. No one in history personified this metaphor more than the samurai, the warriors of feudal Japan who lived by bushido, the way of the warrior, a strict moral code of respect, honor, and discipline. It was their duty to not only exemplify and preserve these virtues in life, but to appreciate the inevitability of death without fearing it. In battle, it came all too soon for the samurai. A fallen cherry blossoms or petal, it's believed symbolized the end of their short lives. Hanami, Hanami with this kanji, well, maybe you can omit o because this is for respect. Hana, this is flower, and we write like this. The first one, this is called kusa kamuri. Kusa kamuri. And kusa, this is like herb. And it's similar to sa from katakana. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Very similar, but short one. And here, I from katakana. And here, hi, ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Hi from katakana. And all together, hana. flower. And this one, mimasu no mi. It's this is mi. It's like a I. This part is me. And with this one, we use this kanji to say mimasu, miru, to look at, to watch, mimasu. So ohanami, watch flowers, but not any kind of flowers. We usually say ohanami for cherry blossoms. So we're going to see, we're going to have some kind of party to enjoy cherry blossoms. This is ohanami. Hanami, for Japanese people, this is a flower viewing, is associated with cherry blossoms. Hanami is about going out to places such as parks to appreciate and enjoy the beautiful blooming cherry blossoms. In Japan, from the end of March to early April, when the cherry trees are in full bloom, families, friends, and co-workers spread ground cloth under the cherry trees, drink sake, and sing songs, and enjoy the coming of spring. At the more popular sites, parties arrive in advance to lay claim to good locations. Hanami started during the Nara period, that was 8th century. But in that time, people admired ume blossoms. Ume is plum blossoms. But in the Heian period, from 794 till 1185, Sakura came to attract more attention, and Hanami was synonymous with Sakura. From then on, in both waka and haiku, these are Japanese poems, flowers meant Sakura. Hanami was first used as a term analog to cherry blossom viewing in the Heian era novel called The Tale of Genji Monogatari. Although there, a wisteria viewing party was also described, but the terms Hanami and flower party, that only means cherry blossom viewing. Emperor Saga of Heian period held flower viewing parties with sake and feasts underneath Sakura in the imperial court in Kyoto. Poems would be written praising the delicate flowers that was seen as a metaphor for life itself, luminous and beautiful, but very, very short, ephemeral. This was said to be the origin of Hanami in Japan. The custom was originally limited to the elite of the imperial court, but soon spread to samurai society, and by the Edo period, to the common people as well. Tokugawa Yoshimune planted areas of cherry blossom trees to encourage this. Under the sakura trees, people had lunch and drank sake in cheerful feasts. Maybe you have never heard of this word, Sakura Zensen. Can you imagine it? Well, Sakura, cherry blossom, Zen, this kanji, the second one, you can pronounce mae, in front, mae, in front, mae. And sen, this one with itohen, and shiro, and mizu, water, white and water. This means line. So Sakura Zensen, it means cherry blossom front line. In every March, the Japan Meteorological Agency announces the timetable for the blooming of cherry blossoms all over Japan. And the line connecting the areas where the blossoms will bloom on the same date is called the cherry blossom front, Sakura Zensen. There are some varieties of cherry blossoms, but the most famous is Somei Yoshino. We usually write in katakana, Somei Yoshino, but there's kanji like this, Somei Yoshino. But this Somei Yoshino is very, very famous. About 90% of cherry blossoms, it's Somei Yoshino. Somei Yoshino is the most popular cherry trees in Japan, being planted in nearly every area of the country. And the bloom forecast, the cherry blossom front, Sakura Zensen, that is announced in March of every year by the Japan Meteorological Agency, is based on the bloom condition of Somei Yoshino, of this type of tree. So it is possible the blooming date may slightly vary depending on the types of cherry trees. In Somei Yoshino, the color is usually pale pink, but sometimes it's white like this. Komagome. This is the place name in Tokyo. Well, this district in Komagome, I was born and I raised here, so I feel so happy about it. Well, in this place, Komagome, is very famous because this Somei Yoshino, so famous cherry blossoms, is born in Komagome, just like me. And I remember when I went to school, elementary school, it is about 10 minutes walk, 10 minutes on foot, and there are lots of cherry blossoms, and the petals were falling down, but so beautiful. And I remember that in the springtime in Komagome. The Edo period to the beginning of the Meiji period, gardeners and craftsmen who made the village at Somei in Edo. This is nowadays Komagome, Toshima Ward, Tokyo. Grew Somei Yoshino. They first offered them the name as Yoshino Zakura, but in 1900 they were renamed Somei Yoshino. This Yoshino cherry was introduced to Europe and North America in 1902. For example, to Washington, to New York, and Toronto. Another variety of sakura is Yozakura. Yozakura. Here I pronounce za, not sa, because it's easier after Yozakura. Well, literally, this ya, it means 8 from kanji, 8. And here, this one, only this one is omoi. Omoi no omo. Omoi is heavy, omoi. And yae, or hachidu, yae, this means 8 times. Like that, 8 times, or 8 sakura blossoms. 8 and Yozakura. But in English, double cherry blossoms. The number of petals influences the flower name. This is Yozakura. If flowers that have more than 10 petals are called yae, then Yozakura. Actually, Yae means 8 petals or 8 layers. In English, this kind of Yozakura is translated like double-flowered cherry trees. Yozakura is late bloomers. Sakura Namiki. Oh, how beautiful! Sakura Namiki. You know, sakura, cherry blossoms, and namiki. Namiki, well, ki is the tree. Ki. Nami, this kanji comes from narabimasu, to line up, all in a row. Line up. So sakura namiki, cherry blossoms, line up. This is one example of Sakura Namiki, cherry trees lined riverside. Look at this picture, so beautiful. Lots of cherry blossom trees. A row of cherry blossom trees like a tunnel. Yoshuku, yoshuku. Well, this kanji, yo, it is like ma from katakana, mami mumemo, and after it's like a from katakana, but a is like a circular, but here to the vertical and just jump. This is yo, and yo, it means in advance. For example, yotei, planning. When you plan something, you are going to do, today I'm going to do this one, or in 3 o'clock I'm going to meet someone, like this. This is yotei, yo-tei, plan. And yoshuku here, shuku, this comes from the verb iwaimasu, oiwaimasu. Iwau, iwaimasu, it means to celebrate. Celebrate. So yoshuku, it means celebration in advance. I talked about the origin of Hanami in the Heian period before, but there's other origin related to agriculture. Hanami originally was used to divine that year's harvest, as well as announce the rice planting season. People believed in Kami-sama, the god, inside the trees. That is in Shintoism. And they made offerings. Afterwards, they partook the offering with sake. Nowadays, people drink also beer, not only sake, in ohanami. And sometimes they drank too much, but this is a very special festival. Obento or only bento. Maybe you can take it off because this is for respect. Well, obento, I think bento is so famous word. Maybe you know it. This is the food that you bring to somewhere. For example, when you are going on an excursion, you bring your obento. In Japan, many times we bring obento to school or to your office, like this obento. And it's very delicious. Hanami celebrations usually involve eating and drinking, and playing and listening to music. Some special dishes are prepared and eaten at the occasions. Here we can see other example of obento. In the right side and in the center of the right side, there's edamame, soybean. It's delicious. I like it. Many people like eat edamame accompanying with some beer. In this picture, we can see makizushi in the right part. Makizushi is a kind of sushi, and it's easy to eat with your hands. In this picture, you can see clearer this makizushi in the right part, and in the left part, this is another species of sushi called inari-zushi. And we can just say oinari-san. This obento is so beautiful and elaborated, and it looks like sakura flowers, and this is rice, but maybe with shiso and denbu. Then the color is reddish and pink. So beautiful. Sakura Mochi. Sakura Mochi. Sakura, cherry blossoms. Mochi. Mochi is the food, Japanese food made of rice. But Sakura Mochi, this is the sweet thing and also the pink colored. Did you know that you can eat sakura petals and leaves too? After the petals and leaves undergo a process called shiozuke, this is brining, and you get pickles called sakurazuke. Sakurazuke has a distinctive aroma and used in pastries or sweets called Sakura Mochi, which is shown in this image. Sakura Mochi is a Japanese treat with its red bean curd either completely or partly wrapped by pink-colored mochi and wrapped in a sakurazuke leaf. Sakura mochi is often eaten during the sakura season. Kotowaza. Kotowaza, saying or proverb, saying. And there's one saying like this. Hanayori dango. Hanayori dango. Oh, please. Hana, flower. Hanayori dango, it means more than flowers, I prefer dumplings. Like this. This is just a translation, literary translations. But I think in English, you have this one. Bread is better than the song of birds. This is just like Hanayori dango. But if you say to someone this one, maybe it sounds like kuishimbo. 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 This means like you're greedy. You prefer eating more than anything. So it sounds so glutton. This is Japanese sweet rice dumplings. And sweet and colored rice with different flavorings. There are lots of kinds, but here this is special for Hanami seasons with 3 colors. Yozakura. Yozakura. Well, this yo, this kanji you can pronounce yoru, at night. Yoru, at night, and sakura, yozakura. So it means cherry blossoms at night. And this is also very beautiful because Yozakura is usually illuminated and so romantic. Here it's not the night yet, still the evening. But the light is on and sakura looks beautiful. The cherry blossoms are lit up at night. It is called Yozakura in Japan. The view of Yozakura is romantic and dreamy. You will feel like you are in fantasy. Here you can see the night view of Tokyo with Tokyo Tower in center. And this is the picture of the park nearby with Yozakura. So you can enjoy Hanami in the daytime or at night too. And in some or in many places, such as Ueno Park, Ueno Koen, temporary paper lanterns are hung for the purpose of Yozakura. This sakura season for us Japanese, it means a lot. Sometimes it's so nostalgic, a little bit sad, because it's time to say goodbye. In Japan, the fiscal year and the school year ends in March. So maybe some students are not going to meet anymore. They may change school, so it's a time to say goodbye. Cherry Blossom's life is so short. After their beauty peaks around 2 weeks, the blossoms start to fall. But they don't wither. They just fall down with wind so beautifully. That's why samurai loved Sakura, because ideal of samurai was to live beautifully, to live with passion, even the life it's so short as Sakura. But at the same time, Sakura means something so merry and cheerful for Japanese, because the Japanese fiscal school year begins in April, the season of Sakura. We feel like the fully bloomed cherry blossoms are celebrating and welcoming our brand new start. Many schools and companies have cherry trees outside of them. This is why we feel so special feelings for the cherry blossoms. It is like life itself, the death and newborn. In Japan, there are lots of animes that have got beautiful scene of the cherry blossoms. But I'm gonna tell you two animes today that I love very much, and also the flower, the cherry blossom scenes is impressive, so impressive. The first, 4月は君の嘘。4月は君の嘘。Well, 4月, it means April. 1月、2月、3月、4月、April. Please be careful. You don't pronounce 4月, but 4月. So April. 4月は君の嘘。Your lie. So your lie in April. This is very strange title, but 4月は君の嘘. And from 2014 to 2015. Well, this anime is so beautiful, and it's so nice to watch it, because if you like especially the classical music, I think you're gonna have lots of fun with this anime. And the beautiful piano pieces and also violin pieces. But today I'm not going to talk about too much about this, but only the scenery, the scene of the girl is playing the violin so beautifully. It's the violin and in the scenery of cherry blossoms in April. So emotional, so emotive. I think it's better to watch this anime. 4月は君の嘘. The second anime is 秒速5センチメートル. 秒速5センチメートル. Well, 秒、1秒、2秒、3秒、4秒、5秒. This is second. Just a second. 速, this kanji, you can also read 早い, quick, rapidly. And 速度, speed. So 秒速5センチメートル. Centimeter. So 5 centimeter per second. This is the title of this anime. 秒速5センチメートル from 2007. This is love story, so romantic anime about first love. So beautiful. And this is not only, but it's not sad, but it's kind of bittersweet. But I like this one. And this one is from with my cat. You can see Shinkai Makoto. This is the author. And Shinkai Makoto, maybe you know the other animes like Kimi no Na wa Your Name, Tenki no Ko, Weather Boy. So his designs are so beautiful. His landscape is spectacularly beautiful. So you imagine 秒速5センチメートル here. You can see beautiful scenery, beautiful landscape of cherry blossoms. And I love this kind of beautiful, beautiful landscape. Today you learned a lot about cherry blossoms, right? And Japanese culture. I didn't speak so much about anime, but I only told you 2 animes that reminds me Sakura. Did you like this video? If so, please give me like, please. And if you share my videos with your friends or your families, that will help me a lot. Please. And if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do it to receive all of my videos. In my channel, I explain you Japanese culture and many types. And also I teach you Japanese languages on weekend. And there you can learn vocabularies and grammar gradually. I think you can learn it with my channel. 今日もここまで見てくださってどうもありがとうございます。では、チャンネル登録といいねボタン、そして私のビデオをお友達とシェアしていただけたらとても嬉しいです。では、また会いましょう。じゃあね。バイバイ。